Are you a local service-based provider that is struggling to get consistent referrals in your business? Well, hey, stick with me over the next few minutes, and I'm going to share with you what you can do today to start getting that to look a whole lot different. I'm Bill Utenage, and I am the author of the Amazon best-selling book, Referability Roadmap, a guide to building your referral-based business. And what I want to talk about today is why we're not getting the referrals that we should be getting. And those, if you're in specifically to for those of you that are local service-based providers, so whether that's in insurance, mortgage, real estate, financial services, right? Is we all know that referrals are really the best form of business that we can get, right? They're usually the best people to work with, and they are always going to be our lowest customer acquisition. And so, what I've been doing over now, this is day 3, is sharing with you the top 3 reasons why that you're not getting referred as much as you think maybe that you should be, and not on a consistent basis. So this is the last installment of that. So go back over the previous 2 days and watch those short videos, giving away some resources in each one of these. And I'll talk about the script that I'm giving away today. But on day 1, I talked about the reason that reason is that we're not teaching people how we work, how we run our business, and how to refer us. And then day 2, yesterday, was I talked about the importance of obviously staying engaged with our clients, bringing them value, communication. I talk about, the 36 Connect is that we want to be having those conversations with different forms of mediums to use to connect with people. Okay. And then so today, in this final installment on this, is what I'm going to be talking about is, well, asking for referrals. And one of the things that come up is, and I hear this as people go, oh, well, you should never ask for a referral. Okay. Well, what I hear in that is that basically is that if people know what we do, and if we do a great job, they're automatically going to refer us. And that I do not believe is true. And I know that for the fact, because of now running service-based businesses for over 3 decades, is I used to kind of think that as well. I'm like, hey, we're just going to deliver great service. People are going to be happy with us, and they're going to refer their friends and family to us. Now, don't get me wrong. Some people did. But the issue of that is that when we relied just on that piece of it, the referrals just really weren't that many, and they weren't that consistent, because the reason being is just people just aren't thinking about us. Most people aren't. They're not trying to figure out how that they can help build your business when you don't share them, when you don't stay in contact with them, and when you don't ask the right way. And one of the things is that where I see so many, service-based providers in this is like they're in a conversation with someone. They're like, oh, well, hey, if you know anybody that, that wants to, buy or sell a home, I'd love to be able to help them. And the reason being is because it's the way that we're going about making this ask. And so what I'm going to share with you, and then I'm going to give this to you if you want it, is 2 ways, and we can call them scripts, but because people go, oh, I don't like scripts. But here's the thing, is you got to know what to say. And so think about every movie that you've ever watched, and that you were enthralled in that movie, right? It was the greatest movie. It doesn't matter what it was. Well, guess what? All those actors, it was a script. They just didn't wing it. They didn't go, well, let's just start rolling the cameras, and then we'll hopefully see if we can get an Academy Award-winning picture out of this. No, they had a script. And this is what professionals do. They know what to say in any given circumstance. And so we take that, and then we internalize that. And then we know when we have that opportunity, we know what we're going to say. It's no different like when we handle objections and all of those other things in our business. And so what I'm going to share with you is really kind of 2 variations of the same script, or the same way, to ask. And so many times is that, we either rush by it, or we it's an afterthought. It's like, oh yeah, you can, hey, if you know somebody, send them to these. So one of the best ways that I find is that when we're making calls to our database, yes, we should be making calls regularly to our database. And depending on your client, depending on if they're, if they're an advocate, what we in my world, in my ecosystem, we break those down into three categories. We have our A clients, which are advocates, that are people that are doing business with us multiple times a year, and or they're referring us. And then we have our Bs, which are our current clients, and then our Cs are basically people that aren't our clients, but those are people that we know, right? Our sphere of influence, our network, and those kind of things. And so the people, so when we're checking in, we're having these conversations, or we're face to face, we run into someone and we're having a conversation. Typically what's going to happen is that if I'm having that conversation with people, okay, if I'm calling and I'm checking in on them, okay, and then I'm bringing them value. It's like, hey, what's going on in your world? Hey, is anything going on that I can help you with? For example, are you any projects around the house, anything that you need? I'm connected to a bunch of people, in the community. Happy to make a referral on that. And as we're having those conversations, right, whatever that looks like, is ultimately what I find is that I would say 80% of the time is that people are going to go, well, hey, how's business? What's going on in your world? And so there's a perfect time then for us then to make the ask, because they've asked me, right? They've asked me like, hey, what's going on? And there's nothing wrong with that. And like what I typically would say is like, hey, thank you for asking. One of the things right now that I'm looking for is, and for example, I'm going to use let's say that I'm an insurance agent. Right now, one of the things that I'm looking for are homeowners that have just maybe gotten hit with a big price increase on their insurance. And because we have some really competitive rates, I love helping people save money. So if you have a friend or a family member that may want to get a second opinion on their homeowner's insurance, hey, I would love to be able to help them do that. And the best way for you to connect me with them would be is if you would just do like a group email, having you on there, me and that other person. And then when I get that, I can just take it from there and see if we can't help them. Okay. You see how that flowed? That's a script, right? It's in my referral generator script and it just flows. I'm not being desperate. I'm not being needy. Couple of things though inside of that is that what we always want to do is that we want to be specific in the ask. When we get so just global where it's like, hey, do you know anyone? You notice I didn't say anyone. I'm like, hey, maybe a friend or a family member, right? Okay. Who do I know is a friend or a family member? Okay. Those are people that are close to me and that are homeowners, right? Because what am I looking for? I'm looking for people that just got hit with a rate increase on their homeowners insurance. The reason this works is because it's the way that our brain works, because what it wants to do is it opens up a loop. There's a thing called our reticular activator. And so basically our brain opens up and goes, boop, wait a second. Hey, looking for homeowners. Who do I know? Friend or a family member that's a homeowner. And the brain starts to process that, going out and trying to look for those people. Okay. Now, they're not going to do this forever, but the issue of this is that pops into their mind. And what will happen is, even after you get off of that call, when they're out and about having conversations with people and that it pops up, in a conversation, their reticular activator hears that because you have brought that into their world. It's no different than this. Let me break it down. Is that let's just say, for example, you get a new car and you get I'm wearing a red shirt today, obviously. So you get a new red car and you start driving around your new red car on that first day. Guess what you're going to see a ton of? You got it. You're going to see a bunch of red cars. Why? Because now all of a sudden that you have a red car, there aren't any more red cars than there were probably the day before you got your red car, but it's our reticular activator. It's how our brain works. And so it's no different than when we make a specific ask. Here's the challenge is that so many people, meaning business owners like yourself, maybe watching this, will go, well, I don't want to, make it just so narrow because maybe they know someone that needs, auto insurance. I understand that. But the issue of it is that it's okay to be specific, because I would rather, if I say, hey, do you know anyone for any insurance issue, right? It's just too general. It's just the brain just kind of like, I don't know anyone. I don't know anyone that needs insurance, but I have a friend or a family member and they're a homeowner. that narrows it down. The brain can go after and look at it. And then sharing with them how to make the connection. So many times what happens is like we just end it there where we're like, hey, we'll just, have them, connect them with me. Well, how do I see? It's not their job to know how to do any of this. This is our job as the professional. And then we just share with them, hey, and the best way I found for you to connect with them is, and maybe for you, it's a text. Hey, it's a group text. Email is probably because then it's like, oh, I don't know if I should share their phone number, right? All these things. So we want to have as least amount of friction as we can in this whole process. So most people like going like, hey, just do it a group email, add me on there, add you on it, and the other person, I'll get it and I'll take it from there and I'll do a great job for them. Would that be okay? Yeah, awesome. Yeah, that would be great. See how just simple that is? The second iteration of that is really it's the same script, but it's in a situation where I said 80% of the people are going to ask you how your business is going. There may be that 20% that don't. And here's the thing: is we get towards the end of the call, and as we know, as you're kind of wrapping it up, is you can just kind of go, hey, hey Jenny, hey, could I ask you for a favor? And I'm going to pause. I'm going to pause there because I want. Can I ask you for a favor? And I'm going to pause, and they're going to go, yeah, sure. What's up? And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go, hey, right now I'm looking for people home. So maybe a friend or a family member that's a homeowner that got hit with a fairly big price increase on their homeowner's insurance. And I'd love to have the conversation. We've got some great rates, be able to save some people money. Love to be able to be connected with them to see if we can help them. And the best way to connect me with is with a group email with you on there, them and myself, and then I can take it from there. Would that be okay? Yeah, awesome. Yeah, happy to. Yeah, I'm happy. That's what will happen. I'm happy to do that, right? And the power of the favor, right? You notice that I'm like, hey, would you do me a favor? People like to do favors for people, right? It makes them feel good. Like when someone asks you, and especially it's not like I'm asking them to donate a kidney. I'm just saying hey, could you do me a favor? This is what I'm looking for. And if you have a friend or a family member, maybe a colleague, somebody that you work with, that just got hit with a price increase in that, and then we can take this into into industry, right? I can take it into real estate. Hey, I've got some buyers that are looking forward to, if you're in an area where inventory is really tight. I used to use this in my real estate business. It was what I would call people, and I would just be calling them and just like, hey, you got a couple of minutes for a business call? I was wondering if you could do me a favor. Hey, what's up? What do you need? Hey, we've got some buyers that are looking in your neighborhood, and right, I would just go into it. My ask was specific. We have people that are looking to buy in your neighborhood. We can't find them a home, or the ones that we have looked at just haven't worked for whatever reason. Hey, if you know anybody, and I just go into the specific ask, and then finish it with how to connect, and you'll be surprised and amazed how this changes everything. When we started doing this in our business, and then as I've taught this to others, my students and my one-on-one clients in all different industries, is when we slow down and we get specific in the ask, and we're not coming from a place of that we're begging or we seem desperate. None of this, when I say this, is like, hey, I'm just doing, because in a way is they're doing me a favor, but also, hey, I'm also doing a favor for their friends and family members, people that are close to them. If I can save them some money and it makes them look good, right? And we do, and of course, you got to do a great job. And whether you can save them money or not, you obviously won't know that till you do it. But then they go back to that person and going, hey, thanks for connecting me with Jenny. Hey, they were able to save me X on this. That was awesome. And like, oh man, great. Because then they feel better. Then when they feel better about it, they get reinforcement about this. Guess what they want to do? They'll do it more. This is the whole piece behind all of this. And so many times is that I think we get this so wrong, is because, I don't want to ask for referral because it makes me feel it's awkward and it's pushy. But if we do it the right way, if we do it in a conversational way, if we do it in a way where we're bringing value and we've been connecting with these people, helping them solve a problem in their life, making it better or easier, then when we have the opportunity, we have a conversation to ask them for that. It's not weird and it's not awkward. And I'm just telling you, I know, because I did this for years and years and years. I still do that. when I have conversations around my coaching business. Hey, if you know somebody that a local service provider that could really use more business, and especially around getting more referrals, hey, I'd love to be able to have that conversation with them. And here's the best way for you to connect me with them, right? Is to do a joint email, right? It's no different. This works, and I mean, this works literally. I could take this and probably into any industry. So those are the really what I look at as the main three reasons, is starting from the beginning, is right, letting people know this is how I run my business. This is why I run it. And the benefit to you by me running my business by referral is I can spend my time, money, and resources with my clients and deliver world-class service versus having to go out and do all the other, stuff that none of us really, that like to do. So it's a benefit to them. And then secondly is us staying in contact, communication, goodwill, bringing goodwill content to them, value, helping them, right? Oh, you heard me say this, right? Help them make their life easier, better, help them solve a problem in their life. And that maybe even outside of the scope of our, of what we're doing in our industry. And the third thing is what I just shared with you guys, is how to ask. It's okay to ask. I'm not going to ever hide behind that. Is to share that. Is I believe, because I'm bringing enough value to the people on that, and then when we have an opportunity and they ask me about my business, or I'm going to do that, but I'm going to do that in a way that it's not going to be weird, salesy, and all of those things. And that's what this is. So if you want a copy of this, if you're a local service provider and you think this would be helpful, I make everything as simple as I possibly can, right? It's a referral generator script. And so the two variations that I shared breaks that down so you have it. If you want a copy of it, just drop the word referral in the comments and I'll send it over to you for free in a Google Doc. And you can use it and take it and hopefully start generating more business. And as always, if you're a local service provider and you're like, hey, how do I get, there's a lot of this going on. How do I implement all of this? And you want to have a conversation around that? Connect with me. Love to have a conversation to see if I can help you grow your business quicker and better. So that's what I've got for you out of today's video, out of this 3-part series. If you're just tuning in and watching, this is day number 3. This is reason number 3. Go back. Wherever you're consuming this, just look above this. This will probably be where the other two videos are. I've got some free resources for each one of those videos as well. And grab that, take it, and I'd love to hear any feedback that you got of like, hey, this is working. This worked for me, and this is what this did, because this is what I do. I love seeing business owners grow, and especially by generating more referrals. So, hey, have an awesome rest of your day. I will see you guys back here on the next video. Bye.